LinkedIn has finally added the live stream option to the platform. I am so pumped, so excited to be talking about this today, and especially with my guest, LinkedIn expert Judy Fox, where she's going to come on. We're going to talk about what this means for the live streaming community, what this means for brands, and everything about LinkedIn. Like, is this really gonna make a huge difference? I'm looking forward to talking about it, and we are going to talk about that coming up. By the way, if this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Daniel Patrick Norton, but you could call me Dan. I'm a video editor, and I've worked in live stream broadcast for over a decade. And on this channel, we're going to talk about video marketing strategies, live streaming, and a whole lot of that other stuff. So if that is something that interests you, consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon. But enough about me. Let's get Judy on. We are going to talk about LinkedIn live streaming video. Judy, thank you for coming on. You're entrepreneur, speaker, and LinkedIn expert. We've gotten to meet on a couple of occasions and chatting. I just got to see you speak right here in New York at Richard Moore's event, live.
Entrepreneur Business Live.
Yes, Entrepreneur Business Live. You crushed it, of course, talking about
Thank
LinkedIn.
you.
What else, right? Amazing. Great group of people to hang out with here in New York City. But thank you for coming on. And I know that you're fired up about today's news.
I was so fired up. I wrote a post right that second, and I was done. It was maybe the article from, what is it, TechCrunch?
Yes, TechCrunch.
Yeah, that article just hit it, and everyone is all over it.
Yes.
So yes, so basically I had predicted. So Ross Brand does the kind of prediction article, and I had written in November 2018, and I said, people are going to be kicking themselves for not already being on LinkedIn. Even if you weren't even doing LinkedIn video, at a minimum, creating a presence, kind of slowly chipping away at creating a brand and your messaging on LinkedIn, you're going to be kicking yourself. And now I keep saying, right now, you're going to be kicking yourself again if you don't just say, okay, fine, I didn't do it for the past 6 to 1 year ago, but if I do it now, it's kind of reminding me of the stock market. There's moments where you're kicking yourself that you didn't do something, or even just people who look back on some other platforms, and I'm predicting that you will kick yourself if you're not on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I mean, you've been, calling that out for a long time now.
Yeah.
And
so many people do.
Yes.
Big names. I mean, I'm not the only person saying this.
Absolutely not. Actually, I mean, I've been, all of us have been on LinkedIn forever, right? Everyone's been on LinkedIn forever because it's where you put your resume.
It started 2003, 2004.
Yeah. It even predates Facebook, right?
Yes.
And it was probably a year ago when Roberto Blake, I'm in his mentoring group, his video creator group, and he talked about LinkedIn video. And he was like, you need to be on LinkedIn video creating that stuff. That was the first time I've actually heard about it. And then I went to Grow with Video Live, Sean Cannell's event in Vegas, where Brittany Crystal had a whole amazing presentation of that. Then you talked about it, at Video Marketing World. Actually, prior to that was Video Marketing World, right? So,
yeah.
And man, this announcement's huge. I got to ask, why do you think it took so long?
I think, and I can see that in the article, I can see there's some hesitation with the quality of what lives can be put out into the world. I can just sense that because maybe it's TechCrunch writing it, but it basically talks about the first phase. They're not as open to, it sounds like, rough and ready user-generated content. They called it rough and ready. I'm not saying that's words out of LinkedIn's mouth. It's maybe written from TechCrunch, but it's kind of, we can read pretty easily between the lines that just hitting live anybody on this earth seems to be a little scary for LinkedIn to grasp and put their arms around, if I have to be a little blunt.
Yeah, that does make sense, right? A lot of things can happen in live video. But the same thing can happen with video that's posted. So
exactly. I think I I think they are hoping that they can create very professional looking videos. And that is why it sounds like they're including Switcher Studio,
Yeah.
Wirecast, Wowza Media Systems, Social Live, and Brand Live. Those are the first ones that were announced. And it says, with more to come in the following weeks, LinkedIn says.
Wow.
So I'm not sure what that 1000% means, especially because I then am connected to Nick Mattingly and Mark Garwith, and I've kind of been following their posts. And Nick wrote a post. Of course, we're all kind of like seeing and circulating what's going on, who's talking. So with Switcher Studio and Nick making a post saying that it's almost sounding like we're reaching out to Switcher Studio to work with them through their platform to be able to be live as a content creator. So I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Is that what that means? So
yeah, I mean, we got right here my friend Matt, Garage Talk TV. Do you feel LinkedIn platform has always been a business oriented place where you did more business networking? Is changing into more of a social network? Like Facebook is. I mean, you were just saying that, right? Like, does that seem the direction they're going?
I think they're still trying to hold on to that business feeling. And I do think they'll always hold on to that. And I think the main reason why is because just of their core and how they set up their business model and how they attract brands and companies to be there and the level that they expect of communication on there. However, I will say as a creator, and this goes back to the concept that I think people are, and if you're smart, you're coming to the conclusion that you need to be the show and not the ad. And I think a lot of brands on LinkedIn, and I think LinkedIn even as an ecosystem, people think, I, as a CEO, want to be a thought leader. I want to put my content out there. And they think in that ad space still, depending on the age of the business, the ecosystem of the business, how fresh they can get some new eyes to kind of pull in and take that feeling of let's create a show versus an ad. And I keep telling people, you don't want to show up as an ad on the platform. People are just going to shut you down.
Yeah, right. Like that's what we do with ads all the time, right? I mean, it started with TV, watching TV, and it's just like, we block out the commercials. Now we're fed so many ads online that we're just so used to just blurring them out and just scrolling right past it.
So I think the ecosystem supports, and I've noticed this with my own posts, and I've noticed this with clients' posts, that when you veer off of value, your post doesn't go as far. So if you provide business value, whatever that is, to move the needle in somebody else's life. And when I say I do human-to-human marketing, I mean, I work with businesses, I work with corporations, I work with individuals, I work with everybody because I say every single person in the chain of procurement, of purchasing, of sales, they're literally a human. And it sounds funny, but the further you get away and the further, when you get to automation, when you get to depersonalized, you get back to that feeling that you're not treating me like I'm an individual. So I really feel like having live video on LinkedIn will even allow people to get that feeling of more personal. When you're live, you know there's no editing, you know you're getting what you get, and that's why it's so powerful on other platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. The being able to give value in those posts is huge. And being that LinkedIn is still such an open space because so many people are still not knowing that it's there. You could give so much value and become the person giving value for your niche. That could be such a powerful place to go. And now with live video, that's going to be huge. We got a question from my friend Gord Eisman. He said, what does the announcement mean for the non-corporate creator? Will small business be able to take advantage of this? Will video creators be able to take advantage of this that are not just necessarily B2B?
I mean, I definitely think so. I keep telling people, and this is what Brittany Crystal says too, that it is for everyone. I don't care who you're talking to. I mean, I have a friend on there, a connection that is a comedian. I have somebody who's a hairdresser. I have somebody who is a massage therapist. I have somebody who's speaker. But and then you've got the CEOs, the CMOs, and your directors, your market. I used to be an environmental professional for a bunch of years, a chemical engineer. You're literally humans interacting with other humans, and we all know somebody. And sometimes you forget. You can ask yourself who is even married to people who are, maybe you went to college with somebody and that person happens to know somebody that you need to know in your business, and they're the ones that connect you. So I think that, again, LinkedIn kind of reminds people to connect with people you know. But I think the world of social media is just different than 2003, 2004. And the platforms and the world is different. So we do connect in a way and can more quickly get to know each other, so much more personal. Like we met, and I feel
Yeah.
like without social media, we wouldn't know each other as well, obviously. And the feeling of, can you imagine if I didn't initially connect with you because I was like, I don't totally know you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of, to be blunt, it's kind of stupid nowadays.
Yeah.
We get to know each other because we're in the social media world, and we didn't have video back then. We didn't
Yeah.
have all these ways to know.
Yeah, I mean, the way that we connected is first seeing video on LinkedIn. Because
Yeah.
that's the great thing about LinkedIn is it's still like that early day of Facebook, right? Where you literally, so it just takes one person liking a video and you're like, whoa, okay, this is like great content for me. Where it's so much harder on pretty much every other platform right now. So that's what's been so cool about building these friendships, relationships, and how that can just build your network and grow, right with that. Garage Talk TV Matt has a good question here. It's like, so do you think we should have multiple LinkedIn accounts, one for personal and one for business, one for different businesses or different things?
No. Well, you've got your personal, and I don't think you should have multiple personal accounts. It's not like Instagram in that sense, but they do have what's called company or LinkedIn pages. So they have flipped the name, but the point is there is a space for that. And then I think there you can have multiple company pages. So, yes, if you run a recruiter business and you have your side hustle, maybe your side hustle is writing resumes, I'm just throwing something out there. You've got two businesses that you run, you can create two company pages, but you as a person, you always just exist as one person. You're never multiple people, at least most people are.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. Yeah, and then on multiple levels you can connect with people too. Um,
Yeah.
like you were saying, like with you have different things in your history,
Yeah.
that could still
Well, and one
connect
thing
you. Like,
one thing somebody said to me, oh, sorry, I'm
oh, go for it. Yeah.
interrupting, but I've got two things that I can say. One, somebody said to me today that there was this question of, am I growing my personal brand or am I growing my company brand because I work for a company? And the company, it sounds like, did not necessarily support the person growing their company brand. And it circled all the way back to John from AT&T tweeting out at Video Marketing World when we were on stage with Nick, with Brian Wallace, with Michaela Alexis, with myself. He tweeted out and he said, companies from AT&T, he tweeted out, companies are going to have to start being okay with individuals being a personal brand still working for a company.
Mm-hmm.
And I circle back to that all the time because I remember and think back, companies are spending how much money hiring influencers when truly their entire workforce could be influencers within their entire workforce. Are they even tapping into the people who would love to be an influencer for their own company and probably do it for free? If you kind of said,
Yeah.
they're not doing it for free because they're getting paid. But do you see what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
incredible.
I think unfortunately so many don't understand, especially the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I come from that, so where
Yeah.
um, there there's not much I can speak about it, but there could be opportunity there. Um,
I
for
think
them.
individuals, companies are gonna maybe down the road, we're seeing that trend where more and more companies, the more they sign on to highlighting their individual employees, like for example, I'm trying to think of one. Oh, Burt's Bees.
Mm,
There was a woman who I started following, and she does a lot of their environmental kind of outreach and getting people to, talk about the bees, talk about our environment, talk about Burt's Bees. But I
yeah.
mean, I'm even talking about it right now because she made more of an impact than just seeing a company post. She seemed like somebody I could relate to, one
Yeah.
person. And that's why I keep talking about that human to human impact on LinkedIn, because we see it everywhere. We see it on Instagram, we see it on Facebook. We connect with the person. Our brains take the fastest route to connection, and humans connecting with another human is the fastest route, unless you're this huge brand and you have branded yourself and the Nike swoosh, and you see what I mean? Like, just our brains are tired. We
Yeah.
just we connect with people.
Which is why I think live video works so well. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like you're just watching a video where they're teaching you lecture style and something. Maybe they're doing live videos like that, but like we're literally having conversations with people in the chat right now, and they're asking questions to get your opinion, and like that's person to person connection that makes live videos so awesome. So
Yes.
that's what I think is
And thank you.
exciting.
We can get back. I can get off my soapbox.
Yeah, but it's exactly. But that's how it all ties in. It's
Mm-hmm.
perfect like that. If LinkedIn can really hone in and take advantage of that and make it less about the businesses and companies, but leveraging, human to human, person to person, and forgetting all the marketing little. I mean, obviously, got to do the marketing stuff, but using that as your marketing, right? As you're reaching humans, so that it's not the ad and it's not just Facebook, right? Where people are ignoring everything. It's like here's actual human connection we can make.
Well, I think we shortchange judging a person based on where they are exactly right now. So you might look at somebody and say, you don't know who's going to be the next CEO of whatever company. So why would you maybe like pull them and say, okay, they're not the voice of XYZ. They could be the future voice of XYZ company.
Mm.
And I think that just blows my mind when I think to myself, we need to be more open. And I think that gives more opportunities to more voices that go outside of our normal way of thinking. It allows more leaders that really are truly leading to rise to the top. And it just gives us more opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think the opportunity is rich right now, like you've been saying
I know.
for so long. The
It's
opportunity
changed
is
my
rich.
life to go all in and active on LinkedIn. It's
Yes.
changed my life. I mean, I was working in a corporate job. I was pretty miserable. I was actually very miserable. And I had, again, pros and cons to the different jobs you can have. But there were moments that I said, I don't know if I can do this for the next 20 years. I was looking down the pipe at whatever kind of job. I just couldn't see the path forward, and then taking that action back into my own hands.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean everyone's meant. I mean, maybe I'm not even meant to be an entrepreneur for the rest of my life, but at least in this moment in time, there's that feeling of I'm tired of asking for permission constantly to go to the doctors, to take care of my child, to just permission-based leadership is sometimes it's that place where I think there's a lot of people saying we don't want that anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm at, right? We're building our becoming an entrepreneur now. It's like the greatest opportunities, in history, because of what's afforded for us that we could do right from our own homes. Right from a laptop that I'm literally, live streaming off of and getting to have these conversations, and you could connect with people across the world and build a business that's global, even though all of it takes place locally, right? Like that's the huge part and what's so exciting about it. Um, Now we did have an interesting question from McCann Dogs, my friend Ken over at McCann Dogs. He was saying the interesting choice with Switcher Studio, considering its mobile only delivery. Do you think that LinkedIn's going to be pushing more mobile based for doing these live streams?
I'm not sure, but I know that the platform that Switcher Studio has is just so high end and high quality as far as, I know they were doing the live streaming at Vid Summit, and it was, I grabbed some of that video off of Facebook and made a little clip of it for my video and put it out on YouTube because I was like, it looks good. It's high quality. It looks good. And I mean, it is live, but then I think the thing about going live is that has that element of, if you are live at a golf tournament or something, you're not sitting at a desk. If you're live at an event, there is a mobile aspect to being live. So I can see where I don't know. I don't know all the different companies they partnered with, but I know, the high-end quality look is what I can tell that LinkedIn wants to go for. They want the final live product to look professional.
Yeah, that's well, yeah, and I guess that's where the skeptics lie, right? Because it's sort of like what you even read in the article, right? That they're like, well, we'll see, what this is. Because I know there's going to be a lot of skeptics. I know because you've probably been dealing with that for a long time, as you've preached the message of LinkedIn, getting on there. Do you think it's possible that LinkedIn would go the way of something like IGTV? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people thinking this. With this, there's going to be a lot of hype. There's going to be a lot of people like LinkedIn live video, the next big thing. But there's surely going to be a good amount of skeptics just because of how many things like this have come up. What do you? What do you think about? What would be your opinion on that?
I see where, again, it comes back to, if they're rolling it out and they're seeing this positive kind of response to it. Obviously they're going to go where they're getting the dollars. So for example, if they're able to add ads, or if they're able to monetize it in a different way, or I just think to myself, truly, doesn't it always come down to the money? If the brands bring the big money, and I think that might be, if I had to guess, why there are bigger brands that spend a lot of money probably to be involved in LinkedIn and to bring money to the platform, and they would want a high-end quality experience. I've worked with enough, you have too. There's enough brands out there that have a really hard time wrapping their head around just raw, I'm on my phone taking a video. They feel like that. It's so funny because I say to myself, they feel like that's not going to connect, but that probably is the thing that probably would. And we know it. And I think somewhere they know it because they're hiring influencers that do that. Yeah. That do the raw kind of connection. And there was an influencer recently that I follow on Instagram, and she posted that she noticed all of her curated fancy photos. She's taking these high-end, beautiful shots, but she started getting way more engagement and results and actually making more money when she started posting more of the raw, not so beautiful shots and not so highly magazine looking.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that goes along with it. It's not an ad, right? If it's too shiny, it's too fancy, then, this looks too much like an ad to me.
Well, and I like looking at it for a second, but I have to realize I actually unfollow a lot of those over time because they just don't seem as relatable. I'm not constantly going out having a photographer follow me. That would be fun, but I don't. Yeah. And you just know that they're making up those photos, and there's an element of magazine, of wanting to flip that magazine and look at it, but I'm not digging deeper. But the ones that do have something to sell where it's value based, I am probably more drawn to when they're not so high. They don't need to be glossy. I want the other parts of what they're selling, the course, the book, the knowledge, and that doesn't always need. My Instagram is not super fancy. You come there for value.
Yeah, it's definitely. We had a good question from Garage Talk here, and I know it's not much details are out yet, but there's a time limit on the video being 10 minutes. I'm assuming live video would probably be longer than 10. I don't know what you would think, or maybe this could be the opportunity where LinkedIn starts to move longer than 10-minute videos. I don't know if they actually need longer than 10 minutes because I don't know. Again, it depends on how many people actually watch it at that length. But do you think that there would be any kind of change to the 10-minute limit, or would there be a limit to live video?
I can see them experimenting a little more because of live video and only rolling it out to those high-end kind of quality videos. I could see that being an option. And I can also see, I mean, as humans, we figure out workarounds, right? So can you imagine you go live on one of those systems and then you hit your 10 minutes and then you just boot it back up again and you go live again. And it's like, I can just see where like people would just do that. And I mean, if you think about it, we're so used to that long live format on the other channels that I don't know. I'm having a hard time seeing LinkedIn really like being attractive to some brands if they cut them off constantly.
Yeah, definitely.
Live tends to be long form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
like
I
we're
think
just
that
chatting.
They might open it up here. Laurent had a question too. Do you think LinkedIn will get better at reporting their back-end analytics, a little more like YouTube?
We will hope so. I think I've noticed some updates and changes. For example, in the past, I wasn't as easily able to click on and find who was sharing my posts. I could see that maybe 2, 5, 10, 50, I could see the shares, but I couldn't find out who those people were. And now I've noticed I'm able to click on that a little better and actually go turn around and it immediately takes me to those people's profiles, which I think is, to me, someone sharing my content is a huge thing to check out and dig into as far as, you know, your ideal audience and your target and what you're working on and your clients. And there's no downside to digging into that. Now, is it super easy to curate? It's not. It's still not ideal. But I know that they have partnered with, or they have I don't know what the word, maybe it's not partnership, but with Vimeo. Mm-hmm. And you can upload your video to Vimeo and it's not necessarily considered maybe being taken off the platform like YouTube is. Like if somebody if I see Sean, we talked about Sean Canal, he uploads videos from YouTube and puts the link and it gets less engagement than him natively on the platform, which means press the button and upload. He gets more views doing it that way, like we all do. Mm-hmm. So he's not unique is what I'm saying. Like, but I mean, I pay attention because I check out people and what they're doing and how it's going. I do. That's my job. I'm just kidding.
Got David Foster from Geeks Life and Livestream Pros. He's just saying that it was Livestream Pros that did the live at Vid Summit, not Switcher. Which obviously I would know. I just didn't correct because I was working on the live stream with them.
But there was a station that maybe it was maybe it wasn't the YouTube one. It was live that went up on with Dana Garrison and she was talking on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And I know that their Switcher was making some of those videos. Now, was it the full 24-hour live? Is that what you're talking about? That's the one that Switcher was not doing.
No, they weren't doing that. And they also weren't doing the whole main thing. That was Livestream Pro.
You're right.
But yeah.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to shout out incorrectly. No, I know that Switcher was there because I did a spot with Dana Garrison and she was interviewing people and that was live on Facebook.
Yeah, he said that they had a booth. So I guess that's probably it.
Okay.
They had a booth.
Sorry, guys.
Cool. Yeah, we got a bunch of trying to get through all the comments because I got a couple questions. Here's a good one from Gord. Gord's always great with the questions, my man. What are some example cases you could see for LinkedIn live broadcasts? Like what would be an example that you could see fitting in there? Because I know one, but I want to hear yours.
So you mean like all of a sudden we're now going live? I mean, hello, we're talking about being live at a conference. That's a huge one. Huge. I mean, I think you're running this amazing event with amazing thought leaders, and you could be interviewing all the different stage presenters, driving more engagement and traffic into whatever brands are sponsoring that event. Because, you know, the brand sponsorship is very important for all these different events that are out there. And they don't just randomly sponsor and hope that their name never gets mentioned and they don't get any airtime. So what else? I mean, I think even just private company type events would at their location would be an amazing use of that live feature to showcase not only for their employees, but also can create great video content for attracting new employees to be interested in the company, if you think about it that way.
That's great.
Because you're not just positioning for your company or your brand, you want to grow and you want to attract the best and top talent at a major brand and company. So even from the HR perspective and hiring, that would be really important. Job fairs. I mean, there's so many ways that you could highlight activity on LinkedIn, even colleges and job fairs at colleges.
Yeah. Oh, those are all great. Yeah, that's actually perfect for on there. One thing that I want to see once this rolls out is I want to officially see the Fox and Nez show. I want to see the Fox and Nez Nation and Fox Rocks talking LinkedIn video marketing or LinkedIn marketing, because I think that would be a power show. Professor Nez, Judy Fox. Oh man,
He's awesome.
That's bringing the heat, as JLD would say on EO5.
I'm going to be in social media marketing world, and I'm hoping to have a lot of collaborations happen there. Yes. So very excited.
I need more Fox and Nez. That's the one thing I want. I think that's perfect, because LinkedIn live streaming, you can't get more perfect for having that show together. Because yeah, that's what I would hope for. That's a show that I want to see on LinkedIn. Yes. So let me just see other questions here. Yeah. For it, we got Doug Hewson, El Jefe. Yeah, and David says, "No worries, just got to keep you on your toes." That's. David said, "Do you think LinkedIn will compete with YouTube? More business focused, I would think. Will gamers get in there?"
Oh, wow. I mean, again, I think it just depends on what the platform and the community supports. If there's gamers that are posting and they start getting support on the platform, I mean, it's getting traction. I just don't know if the conversation, again, I feel like there's certain people that I see get traction and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I love that it's gotten traction. Like there's not that many people who can kind of break out and get that, though, if that makes sense. I feel like you've got to have a pretty strong, loyal community on there that, how do I say this? For somebody in the business world to like and comment, that becomes their professional content. Mm-hmm. It's not like YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, where that doesn't become a huge part of their content. But you can scroll through my history and the algorithm triggers the community to sometimes see some of my comments. Some of my comments will get, just like it does happen on other platforms. I don't take it away from other platforms, but I feel like LinkedIn really, really has that social capital kind of nailed down. And there were certain videos that I paid attention to and I kind of reverse engineer and I say, oh, that didn't give enough I actually had a couple people reach out and say they couldn't like or comment because it didn't go along with their company or their brand. And I don't think people think as hard all the time on other platforms about that. Do you?
No, absolutely. I wouldn't. I mean,
it happens.
If you're thinking of your own personal brand, maybe there's some things that you don't want to be associated with, depending on what it is.
Well, if you're at a company and you're working there and you're following somebody who happens to be a recruiter, but they post a great video or a great comment, sometimes you still can't comment or like because you're concerned that somebody in your company will see your activity and see that you're liking or commenting on somebody who is a recruiter. So let's just pretend that it's a gamer or it's somebody who the way they put their headline matters. Yeah. Those first couple phrases in your headline. So if you put, like, for example, I worked with, and talked with Tim Schmoyer about his headline, and he helps video YouTube creators. But I was saying to him, make that first part of the headline the most important part, that people can then see that on the platform. So when he makes a like or a comment, people are going to see that versus saying, I don't know what, like somebody who's a gamer saying, I'm a gamer. Mm-hmm. And it makes it harder for you to maybe like that, because in your employer, you're just turning around and liking a gamer's content while you're at work. But if you wrote something like, I work with XYZ professionals, you just professionalize it up. I don't know quite how to say it.
Yeah.
But there's certain ways that you can say things on the platform that allow people to click like better. That sounds funny, doesn't it? But
no, I completely understand that.
I've noticed when you can position yourself in a way, people can see themselves at work and how their community and their work community and their network, and it's okay for them to like it.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Yeah. We got, Garage Talk has a good idea here. He's a home inspector, and he's got a LinkedIn profile as that, and he thinks that live could be cool when he comes across something fun on an inspection.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Yeah, I think that LinkedIn really is open up to a lot of those things, like you were saying, like not just being at a desk, but like let's kind of jump in here because it revolves around that business or the job or the work. You could really focus in on that, and not necessarily have to keyword research it up. It's like getting right into.
Well, and I worked with a brand recently, and I'm still working with them because I love them. And it's a bag called Lux and Nix, and they make a high quality bag that for a female business professional, we go from night to day and all the things. And I had it in New York, and I love it because it's one of those things. It ended up carrying all my podcast and video equipment in it, and it looked super professional. And they are very active on LinkedIn because they recognize that the business professionals, they need to dress. We need to work out. We need to take care of our teeth. We have dentists that I see on there. I mean, if you're a human, you have all these needs. And as a busy business professional, if you think about it, I don't want to spend all my time in the world trying to network to the thing to go to. So if somebody says this is the go-to dentist and they happen to be in my area and they're active on LinkedIn, I'm probably going to go to them. Because there's so much, humans want to go to other humans for that work if there's a lot of trust and social proof around that person. So we ask our friends, who do you go to for your doctor, your dentist, your hair, where'd you get those pants? I mean, that's the whole, like, we're influencing each other. And that's why I feel like brands, I'm sorry, but they have to let go and have their individual employees have a personal brand on LinkedIn to a degree. And I think that's where more brands will win. Yeah,
absolutely. And especially with the opportunity of live, because in the moment, and if they could present their company and brand that way, that's powerful. Mm-hmm. David said, actually wondering if people will do shows or they'll just be short little lives.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, it's
hard,
I think
shows will be fun, but yeah. I think a short show, I mean, again, I don't know. We don't know. It just came out. Yeah. I hope that people are able to do shows. It would be more fun.
Yeah. So your TechCrunch, there's no instructions yet. Yeah, just like Geeks Life said, it's only on what is it? There's like 2 articles about it.
Yeah.
That I think are out right now. I don't even know. Is there an official announcement from LinkedIn anywhere? Is it just those?
I haven't seen it. I just see something that says LinkedIn said.
Well, we got Professor Nez in the house.
Hello, Professor Nez. I saw he was just live, so he probably wrapped up his live and came on over.
He's always doing something, man. If you missed it, man, I pitched the we need the Fox and Nez show live on LinkedIn. Yes. So, yeah, we got.
He always takes off his glasses. It can be like this.
Oh yeah, the Nez glasses, they're coming off. Oh, there's so many
classic move.
Yeah. So, let's just think about this as we start to wrap up, just talking about the live video. Like, how can live streamers right now, like people who are live streaming, like all over, how can they prepare? Should they prepare? Start getting on LinkedIn, and how can they? What would you say are some like number one tips for preparing themselves if they want to start, if they want to approach live video on LinkedIn this year, whenever it comes out and it's available for them?
I think there is no downside to, and I hate to use this phrase, but kind of land grab on LinkedIn as far as, and I don't like that phrase, but I think it's valid, because if you have got, for example, if you're the first gamer to create a community that is strong on LinkedIn and you have cracked that nut, and I think you can, I definitely think I have worked with people to crack that nut to say, okay, here's how we're going to position, here's how we're going to build. And here's the thing, like, you're that first person, you will have more attention and attraction on the platform as you go live when they do roll it out to everybody. And it's something that you can then do. You will be able to maybe even get on video and talk about the monetization of being a gamer, or the value that you can bring to the gaming community by, the 3 lessons you learned by starting, or blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a million people are running businesses. I mean, even just accounting and figuring out your taxes as a gamer. Like, there's so many topics that are business related to every single business, every single one. Like, how do you create even community, right? That's an actual topic. I actually posted about that the other day on my birthday, which was, I made a post saying, here's 3 ways that you can connect in a more fun way with your community versus just having these kind of static conversations. Start a conversation with a GIF. Celebrate the other person by really acknowledging who they are. I mean, community building is a great topic. So yes, I think that getting on the platform and figuring it out, and at least creating, here's your optimized profile. Everyone uses the word optimized profile, but I feel like, again, I have the way that I think about it. I think about it as you're creating this kind of user experience when they come. Just like they come to your website, they're going to come to your LinkedIn profile and have a user experience, and you can create that same feeling on your profile and not think of it as a resume. Think of it as a website, a landing page. It just happens to be on LinkedIn. So do that. And that's what I mean by optimized profile. And so many people use that word, but I mean, I don't think enough people explain it like that. So I'm saying, think of it as your website, drop and make it match your brand, and it goes along with your user experience. You can flow people through your funnel and actually onboard people and bring them into your funnel and your highest return on investment by optimizing your profile. And then I'm not even starting with video. If you can listen, I haven't even mentioned creative video yet, because at the end of the day, people will, and this goes back to the basics of humanity, people will pay attention to you if you pay attention to them. So the first thing I tell every single person when they're getting on the platform, if they work with me, we're going to pick 10 people and you're going to pay attention to their content before you ever make any content. Because if you get on the platform and just pop out a video, nobody's going to care. The platform is built off of business and networking relationships. It's literally like you just walked into a networking event and you post it and you walk in and you're like, hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm here. And it's like that. Nobody cares. But if you went around that networking event and you talk to every single person, and there's 10 people, and then you say, I have a video that would go over, wouldn't those 10 people then probably watch your video versus you just yelling and announcing? So I think of it as real life. Real life. Walk into your cubicle neighbor on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm here. I see your content. Go all in on about 10 content creators. You want to make sure they're creating content. They're more likely to turn around, and you will get further reach on the platform if you start that way.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm sure you've said this. I know I've heard it from Nez that, if you Google your name, you're most likely going to see your LinkedIn profile as one of the
Mm-hmm.
first,
It's very
even
high
before
up.
your website sometimes.
I know. I don't think mine is. But it's Judi. People always want to spell Judy, but it's
Oh,
Judi.
right. Yeah. But yeah, but I think that's where it's powerful to start there. I think also being able to get in front of brands for sponsorship. So if you do have like your YouTube, your Facebook, your Twitch, or whatever else, wherever you're streaming or creating content, that you could get in front of the brands that can sponsor you or send you those contents. I think, at least that's my thought process, a little easier because you can get in front of the marketers who are probably hanging out on LinkedIn over hanging out, like trying to find you on YouTube.
I actually know, first-hand stories from my connections that have landed major airline deals, major a reality show. I mean, there's some really, I mean, I'm not saying, I know all the details behind the scenes, but major hotels, major, um, you know, speaking engagements with high payments. And I think a little bit because it's already positioning you at this level that they don't have to qualify you.
Yeah.
If you have got the platform, if people come to me now because I've qualified myself enough on the platform that people can just say, she's recommended, like, and that's huge. I mean, when we go on Google or Amazon, don't you want to see that this product has 1,000 reviews and they're relatively high up? And does everyone at least check the 1-star reviews to see what's the most crappiest thing that somebody has said?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we do that, and that's just what we're doing on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn gives you a really nice platform to showcase yourself really well, whereas it's not as easy to do that on the other ones. I mean, you can try, but there's not as much space on Instagram to do it. There's not as much space on, you have to get creative with the other platforms. This one's literally handing you a brochure to say, tell us you're amazing. And we are giving you ways for people to give you check marks, to give you all kinds of amazing social proof. We're just giving it to you. So
Yeah.
take advantage of it.
Yeah, it definitely has that different flavor than all the others, where it's just, there's opportunity that's there if you just go for it. It's just taken them a while, I think, to get to this point, finally to
Yeah.
where they can do it. Um, David was saying, man, if they can get vMix in there and they have the RTMP and be able to stream 1080, 60 frames per second, man, they'll be able to have that beautiful look. Yeah, that would be amazing, because I think that would really attract bringing on broadcasts and shows, because they already do that. I mean, between all of the brands you got, David, between you and Lori, man, there's a ton of stuff.
Well, when I hear that, I also hear people like maybe me or somebody else who just isn't at that level, and they're like, they need to get on here now. Then no, not to be. It's almost like now to get started on other channels, you have to have the higher quality level production. So just start now.
Yeah.
There's no harm in starting now. I don't see the harm. I see no downside because, people say all the time, oh, but you're spreading yourself too thin across your channels. Just try and get on there and at a minimum, optimize that profile, make it a landing page, and then go out and at least engage in the community with you've got ideal people you would love to work with. Go find them. Go find something about them. Engage on their company page. Do something. Do some activity that will move the needle.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm preaching.
No, it's perfect. I mean, even Professor Nez. I mean, of course, Professor Nez. Imagine all the possibilities. 600 million professionals strong. Yeah. Nez, I know you said you got to go, man. Thank you for being here. Always
Yes,
supporting
thanks.
Nez Nation, LinkedIn. Man, such good say. It's amazing on there. I know Doug's asking. I'm using Ecamm, not StreamYard, but that's what I'm using to go live with this. So we'll
Okay.
see if LinkedIn adds Ecamm to the list of things. I think BeLive would be pretty cool. If BeLive, I know BeLive does Twitch now and not just Facebook Live. If BeLive goes LinkedIn, I think that would open up to a lot of people, because I think BeLive is the easiest to make it look the most professional, just with the easy way to add lower thirds and bring in guests without having to worry about Skype or Zoom or any of that stuff. I think BeLive would be amazing, and I wouldn't be surprised, just because now that they've opened up to Twitch, that BeLive would go into doing live with LinkedIn.
Well, and it sounds funny what you just said, but right now people can take a live from any platform and just bring it over and post it on LinkedIn, as long as it's less than 10 minutes. And I think it's funny. I took a Facebook live off. I grabbed it and took it off and just edited it and put it up on LinkedIn, and it did, got tons of views and engagement. And I'm kind of like, well, you can already kind of go live if you really want to think about it.
Yeah, in a way, right? Like being able to repurpose, and that's something that I'm really going to start going strong on is repurposing live streams for live streamers. I think it's a bottleneck for a lot of people to be able to repurpose and create square video memes for different things, or even cutting out a 5 or 10 minute section of a live to put on LinkedIn because it fits perfect on that platform, even though you went live over on Facebook or YouTube. So that's something I'm actually going to be starting to do to help people who do live streams, is that repurposing, because it's such a big thing to be able to repurpose, not only to promote, that you're doing those live streams there, but to have your biggest reach, and the reach that LinkedIn gives right now is powerful.
I've had some of the biggest success recently with my repurposed Instagram stories. Because they clip, they cut. Oh my gosh, I love it. I already filmed it for Instagram. So, I might even take that clip that I just did 2 Instagram stories talking about, oh my gosh, LinkedIn just went live. And then even just then push to this, right? Your stories right after it. I could merge all that together into one video, put it out on LinkedIn, and direct people to this live. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, and I like what you do with the stories, because it sometimes you put a lot of work into a story. Like if you're sitting there and you're adding all these different things and you're creating this big long thing, and then it really just doesn't go anywhere. It just sits on those IG highlights, which, how many people actually go and watch a lot of those highlights? I don't know, because I know I don't necessarily go. Sometimes, I guess, when I'm looking at someone's profile for the first time, but I don't know if I go back and watch them. So that's actually a great way to repurpose using Instagram Live, and I've been seeing you do that. Especially when you're at conferences and bringing in those guests that you could just jump on real quick and not even have to be like how powerful is that? You could just you did it with Gary Vee, which was awesome.
Yeah, it's just so powerful. It's so powerful that I took all these short clips, and I think some of my videos went to 50,000 on LinkedIn, and over, I don't know, close to 1,000 likes, because people, again, and I know YouTubers and I know other channels know this, if you clip through, you're keeping the energy, the engagement, pattern interrupt. You're not just kind of talking and you're a talking head. Now, there's time and place for that, but I think there's an energy around LinkedIn that is definitely, it's almost like they don't want you to come on. The community doesn't necessarily support coming on and like I said, screaming oh my gosh, I'm here. But that high energy does well. I've noticed that kind of I'm here and I'm excited about what I'm talking about, but I'm not over the top. It's that middle ground. It's talking with people, not at people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There.
Which is a great way to kind of go across with all live streams anyway, and all video content.
It is.
But I think specifically with LinkedIn, because like you said, so many people look at it like putting up ads or putting up business related stuff. So having that, again, going back to human, which, like I said, makes it exciting. The live stream is finally here for LinkedIn. We've been talking about it and wishing for it and asking for it for a long time, even though video on LinkedIn is still fairly new in comparison to how long LinkedIn has been around.
I think it's only September of 2017 that it officially launched.
Yeah.
And then it kind of rolled out from there. I didn't get started until March of 2018, so it hasn't even been a full year for me. And I'm already at I think it's getting up to 4 million views now. It's incredible. I don't know why that kind of who's going to turn that kind of eyeballs down?
Yeah.
So get on.
Yeah, exactly. And there is room to create, right? Room to test and see what works. El Jefe, engagement is more organic that way, being real, being human, and bringing that engagement. And man, engagement on LinkedIn is so good because like all it takes is you commenting, and then pretty much all your followers see that you commented and that post shows up.
Yeah, and the comments are really gold. I mean, I provided 2 comments today that I spent time creating, like not just a quick, hey, I mean, I wrote like 3 paragraphs. I think I probably wrote like 1,000 words.
Wow.
It's a solid comment. It's not,
Yeah.
people are not just like, and some of the comments I've seen comments get over 400 likes just on a comment.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely seen. I mean, there's been some people just breaking out with single posts or comments alone, and you get seen by the right person.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's true too.
And that could be a powerful thing. I think that's kind of the word I keep using, powerful, right? Because
and that goes back to networking. You never know who knows somebody. So somebody that works at some random company all of a sudden then forwards your post just to them, and you can't even see it, but all of a sudden they send a DM and say, hey, check out this post I just saw, blah blah blah, something about this. It's just your content gets so much further in a more professional setting of networking that is meant for business networking to try to figure out how to solve somebody's problems. And solving somebody's problems could be so many things. I mean, I see therapists on there solving people's problems. I mean, we have, like I said, dentists on there. I mean, it's like every single profession exists on there. And then, of course, we've got marketing professionals, we've got CEOs, we've got everybody, and everybody's a human, at least I think.
Yeah. Professor Nez, who said he had to go, but he can't help but talk about LinkedIn, is demonstrate your worth to people who actually have money and connections. I've received so many clients and speaking gigs on LinkedIn with my video content. It's like, boom. Yeah. Like, you've got the ability to get in front of people who can make the difference for your business or become your clients, to help them with their struggle, like putting out your bullet points of what your business does in videos that way. And you could get in front of people who could actually like be the client that changes your game, changes your business, from one thing.
And I 1000%, if people can see how you work, how you provide value, I mean, if they can see you, I mean, I've noticed that when I give it all away, and people talk about that, they talk about giving all the value, giving all your brain, I truly notice that that's when it all comes back to me, because people didn't know what I knew and I couldn't hold it all in, or else we wouldn't even be having this conversation. If I just sat in my bubble and I was like, but I don't want to tell anybody, like, you wouldn't know what I know. And so I've got to give it kind of all away, how I see the platform, how I work. And somebody equated it to me as a 5-star restaurant. They could give away every recipe and you're still going to go to this 5-star restaurant because either they can do it better than you, faster, you just don't feel like it. I mean, people on that platform want to pay for people to just get it done. And I call it like fast track. I'm going to go to Disney and I'm going to fast track my way onto a lot of different rides because time is money. And I would rather ride a bunch of rides and enjoy the experience and have a great user experience at Disney with my fast tracks. And I think the same thing can be offered with your business and doing what you do and what you provide on LinkedIn and how you show up and the value. So give it away, because people will pay good money to fast track, to use you to fast track.
Right. Laurent says it's easier to get the right view or the right comment on LinkedIn as the mindset is business first. One thing Roberta Blake told me, which made a lot of sense, is what really kicked my mind into like, wow, I got to start thinking about LinkedIn. Like, people who hang out on Facebook, even YouTube, aren't necessarily looking to spend money or not ready to. But if they're hanging out on LinkedIn, they're either looking to get a job or to do business, to grow their own business and their marketing and their things like that. So they're way more, at least the percentage or ratio of people who are ready to spend money or looking to spend money or to do business with somebody, they're the ones that are hanging out on this platform way more than others. And that's where I think a lot of either video creators or bloggers or people who create content online that are ignoring the space may not recognize that and be able to say, well, what if I could present what I'm doing over there here in a way towards people who are more ready to spend money, or who are actually looking to advance, to learn, right? To learn how to do LinkedIn, right? Right? How they can do that. They could come to you, right? And be able to learn the strategies so they could grow their business on LinkedIn.
Yes. And I think
And they
that
could find
concept
that
of
there.
the size of the sale, people talk all the time about closing a higher ticket sale price, higher ticket item. And if I think to myself, I have not really met too many people that are able to as easily qualify and close on higher ticket items without more steps through the other platforms. But I feel like LinkedIn, it just smooths over some of that initial qualification of a sale. So like I said, if you've got a higher ticket, I've worked on a project that was, I think it was 70,000. So it was like, okay, but I wasn't finding all of a sudden a 70,000 project on Facebook or Instagram. Maybe other people are, as easily, if that makes sense, as like, and they go up from there. I'm not saying like, that is this huge number, but from a one person's business perspective, and they're running a coaching business, wouldn't you be like, okay, I've now got you're just at a different level of financial, corporate potential backing, or even brand backing, or it's a different conversation. They're expecting it to be a different conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Ken at McCann Dog says it's really important also to know how you frame your content to help professionals on LinkedIn understand how you can help them. So, like speaking to the appropriate audience, knowing that people who are hanging out on LinkedIn are most likely professionals.
I do challenge the platform a little bit by showing up in my fun way, but my brand is fun. So I want to get business done, but also have some fun. Yeah. I don't see why they have to be separate. And that's where I come from. And I was telling somebody earlier today, I wanted to get on more podcasts early on when I was first joining the platform or getting active as a creator. And I was joking around and I said, if I want to get interviewed for shows, just like I'm getting interviewed right now and be split screen, why don't I make a video where I interview myself? And then people can see my interview skills. Mm-hmm. So before I ever got asked to be on a show or an interview, I figured out in editing and did a split screen. And of course, I didn't just go for one person interviewing. I ended up going for 3 people interviewing me all at the same time. That was myself 3 times. It was a little intense. Wow. Yeah. Wigs were involved. Oh, that's awesome. Most people don't think of LinkedIn like that. But in my head, I was thinking, well, the end result is I want to be on shows. Yeah. So interview myself.
Well, and it helps you stand out on the platform, right?
It definitely did.
Yeah.
And I got interviews and I got speaking engagements and I got where I wanted to go. And I think that's where I think people can experiment on the platform, get creative, and be the show, not the ad. Mm-hmm. Don't constantly think about telling, when you've got courses, when you've got your thing that you're putting out into the world, people always want to explain the thing that they always got so deep in the work of doing it. But it turns out it's the results of your clients. It's their user experience. So you're reading a good comment?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Professor Nez, I interview myself all the time, especially in the shower. TMI?
TMI, Professor Nez.
I mean, you watch a Professor Nez stream, and yeah, he can interview himself. It gets crazy. It gets crazy, especially if you see one of those.
That's probably why me and him get along so well. We can just go back. We don't even need to talk. We're just like.
Oh man, yeah. Nez, I'm so glad you're in the comments here. Especially, I knew you'd be here in LinkedIn talking. Got our LinkedIn pros, our LinkedIn experts, chatting it up in here. So, but he did say video storytelling, the most comprehensive medium for displaying your value today. You can. You can diminish. I can't read what that word is. Um, you could really just show who you are, right?
Hmm.
I
You
think it's
can be yourself on the platform.
yeah,
And I know some people are not, they're not me. I'm not them. I mean, I feel like, but don't shy away from being creative and thinking that you only have to show up as, if it's your brand to be a little more fun or be a little more relaxed, whatever your brand is, you've got to stay on your branded words and your brand messaging and your values.
yeah, for sure. And having video, like what's the percentage right now? 82% of internet traffic is video. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that's the current, like right now. I think it was predicted to be 85% by this time, but that's a lot. If you want to stand out, if you want to get your personality out there, your professionalism of however your brand is, right? Every brand's different. It's not just like
Yes.
suit and tie, stuffy, resume looking thing, but professional towards how your brand is. And that can be
Well,
fun.
like I said, I was
Yeah.
noticing that the woman I was following from Burt's Bees, she was going out and being active and putting on a beekeeper suit, and she was doing all kinds of things, but she was just sharing her work life. She was basically getting up in the morning and randomly throughout the day, she would shoot some video and then she would compile it. And she was like kind of vlogging a bit for Burt's Bees, but it was coming from her and it wasn't super high produced. And I was getting that feeling it's just on her phone. I mean, maybe she was a little more high produced than that, but it felt like that feeling. And I think to myself, thank you. Thank you, Burt's Bees, because I appreciated, it felt like I was seeing behind the scenes of her experience, and it was giving more credibility to what Burt's Bees was up to. Because we all think, and especially with the bigger the brand that gets, the messaging is controlled, the everything's controlled, and then you don't believe it.
Yeah.
You've got your corporate talking points. All right, sure, I'm going to believe you. It's just too controlled.
Yeah. Well, Judy, it's been awesome talking to you. I don't want to keep it too much longer. We're both parents and everything.
Gosh, it did get late. Holy crap. This could go a while.
That's what happens. We're talking video, talking live streaming, talking LinkedIn. I mean, you got Professor Nez in the chat, Gord Eisman in the chat, El Jefe in the chat, David Foster, Salma. I mean, so many awesome people in the chat with us tonight. Flash in your pan. Your real estate whisperer, modern day tech, so many awesome people. Simply Beth, Liron Segev. I'm not going to just keep going, but yeah, a lot of people in the chat talking LinkedIn live video. What an awesome announcement today! Pumped up. I knew you were going to be on fire, Judy, and
I was super on fire. I was like, I'm taking a video.
I mean, this live happened because of an Instagram DM, because of your Instagram story.
Yes.
And when I saw that, I think I saw your post on Facebook first, and I was like, oh man, this is awesome. We got to talk about this today.
Well, and like I said, I made a post on LinkedIn, and what is it at now? Like, oh my gosh. It just it's at 30,000. And I think how many hours ago is that? Like what? 6 hours. So 6 hours ago, it's at 30,000.
So in 6 hours, you reached 30,000 people with a single post. That's not even video post.
No, that's
right?
just
Isn't
a
that
post,
with you and Ross Brand? Right?
And Ross Brand.
Because you made the prediction with Ross, who's my good friend, New York City video marketing, video mastermind, part of my group here. And
I didn't make it into his official. It's like I missed it. I was one day late or something because and then I said, you know what? I'm still going to send it to you because I need to put this out there. And I mean, I worked on it. I was not just like off the cuff, but I was like, I definitely predict that people will be kicking themselves if they don't have a LinkedIn content and video strategy for 2019. LinkedIn will continue to expand their video features and will roll out stories and live streaming. The improved platform will continue to attract more daily users, and the opportunities to collaborate and connect with businesses and brands will continue to increase. Mic drop.
Power right there. You knew it. So.
I mean, a lot of people knew it, but I felt like I was like, I'm going to just wrap it all up into one concise statement and just mic drop.
Yeah. Well, I love this conversation. I would love to continue this again at some point. I want to be able to talk with you and Nez together at some point too.
That would be fun.
And talk live stream. Guys, I definitely want to be talking more live stream on this YouTube channel.
Are
And
we going to
repurposing
be
it everywhere.
all together at Social Media Marketing World? Are you there?
I'm not there this year because I'm going to Puerto Rico with my wife's family.
Oh, that's fine.
But maybe some of the others. I'll definitely be at Vid Summit. I know we got a while for then, but maybe like live stream will be fully operational for LinkedIn by then, and we could do.
Well, maybe I'll come back up to New York before then.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely come if you're back here. If you're speaking at anything, that'd be awesome. So how can people find you, connect with you? We know you're going to find you on LinkedIn, but let's where are the areas that you want to connect? What what are you doing? How can people come and find you and get help from you?
The fastest way is just judifox.com, because at the very top or right at the bottom, you can find all the social media channels and click, follow. So I love being active on Facebook, Instagram. I'm active on Pinterest. I know that sounds funny, but I think that's definitely a really good space. They've added video, by the way, if people don't realize that. So, I mean, I know that sounds interesting, but I've been a blogger since like 2007, 2008. So this is not some new world for me. It's just one of those things that I was always side hustling. And it was when I finally added video that I was like, whoa, it all came together.
You have a YouTube channel, right?
I do. And I'm launching. Oh my gosh, I went live today. So I've done 2 YouTube lives, which to me is big because I really have never been active on YouTube. So yes, I'm very excited, and I'm working, and I'm definitely aiming for this Friday, because I know a lot of people have opinions about, oh gosh, so many things that you could do. Just like I have strong opinions about LinkedIn. I'm coming into the YouTube space, but you know what? Just bear with me. Enjoy my fun flubs on the platform. Just like, it's just like getting on LinkedIn. You got to experiment and try, and I'm going to keep pushing. So
absolutely. I think you'll do amazing on that platform, and you got a podcast too.
I do. That is actually, like, to me, that's easier for me to wrap my head around. For some reason, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm doing so many amazing interviews. I actually got to go into Vayner, so that was really awesome, and interviewed Claude Silver, so that one's coming out very soon. I've got Michelle Grant, the CEO of Lively, who, there's so many like amazing interviews coming up, so very, very excited.
Because that's been launched, right? Yeah.
Yes, the first episode is launched. I'm all about getting right into value. And so the first episode is not me talking about the first episode. The first episode is literally like 1 minute of like, here's a little bit of, it's level up your business with heart and humor. But it's the Judy Fox Show. And there you go. That's it. And basically anyone who leaves a review, it's not on iTunes yet. I'm still trying to get them to approve it. Damn it. But it's on Spotify. It's on Podbean. I'm pushing it out as many places as I can. And it's right on my website, judifox.com. And it's right at the top. Yeah. Put the podcast right there.
I like listening better on Spotify anyway. It's just definitely a better and more stable platform. But I still default to iTunes.
I know.
I mean, all the podcasts, but that's definitely going to become one of my regular weeklies. Talking about that. Matt
and it's
Garage
a
Talk
fun
said he
podcast
would. I think he's
with
saying
laughter.
I think Matt from Garage Talk is saying he'll be at Social Media Marketing World. He could take my place and talk to you and Nez. Let's.
That's perfect.
Maybe we'll make that happen coming up. Talking live video.
Yes, and I will have all my equipment. I will have my videographer, and I will be doing podcasts because I really, really think that capturing that audio in a high quality way is just amazing. And if you listen to my podcast, you'll hear the tone, you'll hear the fun. It's definitely not, but it's getting to the value and the business value, and not just like pitching or, you know what I mean? It's like, let's dive in and have some fun while we do it.
Yeah. Oh man. And we got my good brother Jay Liebs saying he'll watch this later. So we still got a bunch of people in chat, but I want to be able to wrap this up.
I know.
Judy, thank you so much. Everyone go and follow her. Go
Loved being here.
judyfox.com, JUDIFOX.
I know, that's the kicker. And I go by hashtag Fox Rocks.
Yes.
So on LinkedIn, if you put in the search term hashtag Fox Rocks, that's where you can just all of a sudden see the feed.
Yes. Perfect.
So.
Hashtag Fox, right?
And Fox Rocks. And it's ROCKS, Fox Rocks. And follow that hashtag, and you'll always see my content.
Yes. And you always look for the hidden fox somewhere.
I know. There are hidden foxes.
Yes. That's what I learned from your presentation in New York. Yeah. Hidden foxes throughout, which is awesome.
This one's not that hiding.
No, that one's not hiding. There's other ones hiding behind you, right?
Yes, there's tons. I've got a lot of foxes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so pumped for that. Anyone in the comments, are you excited for LinkedIn live video? Do you have any ideas of how you're going to use it? We've heard a couple tonight and looking for different things. Let me know in the comments, are you excited for it? And what would you do right away once this pops up? Are you preparing for it? Are you present on there? So glad everyone could be here in the chat. Looking forward to talking to you in the replay. Those of you that are going to comment below. Thank you, Judy Fox, for coming on. And like I said, on this channel, we're going to be talking about live streaming. We're going to talk about video marketing strategies and a whole lot of other stories like that. So if that interests you, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss it. At least consider, is that something you'd want? And go and follow Judy Fox. Awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.